Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm so glad you're here on this Friday morning, the end of the week. Got a big weekend coming up and all kind of good things. Everybody loves Friday. I mean, the kids love it at school. Even the teachers love it, and so it's a good day to be outdoors. It's not going to be bad. High today is going to be 63, and the low is going to be 51. Now, weather brought to us by Panhandle Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. The water temperature staying the same as it was yesterday, 57 degrees. Let's take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola, Bluntstown, now it's going down just a hair, but it's still at 18 foot. But it's going to be falling today and tomorrow. And also the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it's at 9.5, it's falling. Both rivers are falling, and that's a good sign. It's going to be a good weekend to go down the river. You're going to see more people on the river this weekend than you have in the last month or so, because you got falling water, you're going to have decent weather, and there'll be some catfishing going on, there'll be some crappie fishing going on. It's going to be swift and all, but the water's going to be falling out. And we always liked to, I remember my dad always liked to fish that falling water as it's coming out of those sloughs and all. So keep that in mind if you don't have anything else to do in the outdoors. That's a good thing to do. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides. February the 1st, can you believe it? February 1st, we're looking at a low tide at 5:03 this morning, right now. And just getting low, and high tide at 5. I'm 6:43 tonight. We've got a 1.2 foot range. All in the next week's going to be good tides the first week of February. Also, we have a marine forecast to be north, northeast, and then it's switching to east, northeast at about 6. It was 6 miles an hour yesterday, it's 6 miles an hour today. All right, I'll take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I always like to start this segment off with pictures, and these pictures just reflect what's going on in the Florida Panhandle. About 99% of them. Sometimes I get a deer out of Texas or Alabama or something, but or tuna out of Louisiana. But most of the local folks, most of them and all. And one of the things now, February, a lot of times because it's cold weather, we don't think about bass fishing. But folks, bass fishermen love the month of February, and especially March. So they're getting, the bass are bedding, and it's just an excellent time. And here's our buddy, Drew Benton, been on the show several times. Drew Benton fisherman, a professional bass fisherman up at Lake Seminole, and that explains it right there, what's going on Lake Seminole. These boys, no matter what the weather is, they get out there and they catch some fine fish. So don't forget about bass fishing. Okay. All right, Gary sent this. Hey, Winston, I don't know if you got my pic. Just very excited about using my kayak to hunt. It got a 6-point that dressed out at 120 pounds, a muzzleloader shot at 10 yards. I caught kings to reds, bass to bucks. That bucket list stuff. Got that back a couple weeks ago. Check that out. Gary, that is a fine, I know you're proud of that, and that's just a fine picture. What you can do with a kayak is fascinating. And I know you're real quiet, just sneaking up in there, and that's some good hunting right there. Thanks for sharing that, Gary. I got it. This is our buddy Paul Winterman. You can't see his face, but Paul's our photographer, one of our top 3 photographers for Panhandle Outdoors, they don't do it for Panhandle Outdoors, but we feature them some. He's been on the show before. He and his wife been traveling out west. They're back in town now, and this is out at the state park. And I don't know what but we're talking about the raccoons down, they're all over the place. I don't know why they let them climb on them like that, but the raccoons love they eat out there a lot. So I'm gonna get Paul back on the show, ask him what they're doing on the raccoons. Jeff Carroll, my floundering buddy up there in Westville. He started today in Georgia. I got home in time to get this guy. Not the biggest one I've shot, but considering I was propped up against the door frame of the house, I can't complain. Fresh deer in the freezer. Thanks, Max, for taking me right to him. That's the dog Max going right to him, and that's shooting out of the back door. That ain't bad, is it? That's what you can do when you live up there in Westfield, and all those folks up there enjoy that great outdoors. That's a beautiful country up there. And Jeff, we got to go and start lining up those floundering trips now. Okay, look, this is good news over here. Mitch Coleman of Florida Days announces this. Mexico Beach announced that the canal debris removal is 75% done. That's a big deal because it was a mess. And it will be finished by March 1st. Then the dredge work begins. The goal is open for boating by spring. Also, they got some condos going to be open, and that's interesting. Let me go and say this. I've been in and out of Mexico Beach a lot, going down to the Cape the past 2 months especially, and it is devastated, as we talked about before. But the process of cleaning up is going on at a steady pace. But I always look at the canal when I go over Mexico Beach Canal, and it was just I mean, it was amazing, the mess and all that's in it. For them to have it ready by March 1st and then to dredge it out after that, that's great news right there. So thanks, Mitch, for sharing that. How about John Jones Barfield? My daughter went hunting with me for the first time in 2 years and got to shoot her first deer. Her reaction was priceless. There she is at Bluntstown High School jersey on, and look at that big buck. Nice buck there, and big old smile. Okay, good job there. There's another picture of it. All right, coming up now, and I'm going to talk about this later on in the show, the 43rd Annual National Wild Turkey Federation. It's going to be February 13th up in Nashville, and it's 2019 Nashville show. Okay, I'll just read this to you. Justin Leake sent me an email or message that said, Matt, you know, Justin does the show Chasing the Sun, which is on the Discovery Channel. Okay, he said, hey, Coach, Matt is on this week's show with me, and we give you and Full Box a shout out. Thanks for helping us get started in the fishing world and for all your support. And so if you get a chance, I'm looking forward to it. I got to find it on the Discovery Channel, and it's going to be really, I'm really looking forward to it. Seeing those two boys fish, those boys are special to me. So thank you, Justin, for sending that. Okay, so let's see. That takes care of, well, no, don't tell you. I got another picture. Hey, Winston, I caught this bass in a small pond in Panama City Beach today. I taped it out at 20.5 inches. Here it is, Joe Alo, and he got it in front of your face, Joe, but that is a fine bass right there. He does a lot of bass fishing and a good loyal viewer. Okay, that takes care of our pictures. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, glad you're with us and all. I want to say especially good morning, Captain Roy Ray. Hope Miss Myrtle's doing better. She's under the weather and all. So, called him the other day and been trying to get a hold of him, get him back on the show, talk about some winter trout fishing, because winter trout fishing, I'm going to talk about it in our forecast. Winter trout fishing is really good. Let's look at the top 10. Before I get something, I've got 2 or 3 things to get done. The top 10 things to do in February. So today's the first day of February, and last night I sort of jotted down. You know how I love to do the top 10 things. That might have come from, I don't know, Johnny Carson used to do that or something on the show. Somebody used to do the top 10, or David Letterman. Or, anyway, so here it is. In no particular order, but 10 things you can really do to enjoy the outdoors here in the Florida Panhandle. And of course, first one to put up was sheephead fishing, and we talk about it a lot, but it is the prime time. They're coming in to spawn, so just catch the ones you're going to eat and let the rest of them go. Especially if you catch a really big one that's fat and sort of puffy, that's that female with eggs. And I've gotten where in my early years I didn't pay attention to it, but now I do pay attention to it. And I said I let those females go if they puffed up and all, especially those fish like that. Late season bucks. Now we're going to talk about how you hunt late season bucks. The pattern changes a little bit. They're finishing their breeding period now. They're really looking for food right now. So in late season bucks, you want to get in an area where they're going to come into oak trees. If you find an oak tree still standing or coming into your corn and all, they're really going to be feeding right now. Okay, so keep that in mind on late season bucks. You're really going to do some ambushing. Hog hunting. Again, when it's high water and all, got them pushed up in different areas, and you can be selective on these shots and just take the ones you're going to consume, and take people with you. Hog hunting is not hard to do, but it's a challenge if you're going to get out and do it in the swamps and all, and make sure you stay safe on that. That was number 3. Number 4, we just talked about the pictures and all. Bass. The bass are bedding and all. They're protecting their beds, the female and the male, to guard them and all. So keep that in mind. Bass fishing, Lake Seminole is just really strong. The next one that goes along with this is crappie fishing at Lake Talquin. one of the top areas. They've got a tournament coming up pretty soon over there in Lake Talquin. I had a notice on it somewhere, but the crappie fishing in Lake Talquin in February, bass fishing in Lake Seminole, and of course any of the lakes going to have a lot of good bass fishing in it. So that was number 4 and 5. Number 6, you may or may not want to do this, but I enjoy doing this. Just take your rod and reels and put them on your table there. I got a little fishing corner. I put all my stuff on it. Go through your fishing. You know, if you need to change line, February is the ideal time to do that because of the cold weather. A lot of times we sort of have them hibernated back in the garage and all. So if you can go through all your fishing equipment, change your line now, check your guides and all. I've got to replace a couple of mine that I lost some lures on last year because you cut the braided line. So check your lines, check your knots, and just check all your fishing equipment this time of year. Okay. Also on the reel, make sure if you got to put some grease on it and all. These newer ones though, you don't put oil and grease on them like we used to do those old timey ones. But number 7. I do this every year. I check your trot lines. I check it, then put it back on the shelf and never use it. But check your trot lines and make sure everything's tied good. When I go catfishing the last few years, I've gone with the Bill Allen and the Bill Shields, and they've had their trot lines out. But I'm going to try to pull mine back out and use them. So check those out. I know a lot of y'all don't have trot lines. Number 6, your cast net. Just check your cast net. Make sure, you sort of spread it out and everything. Make sure no holes in it, nothing got into it in wintertime and all, because you'll be catching some fish with it for long. Number 9, run your boat motor. A lot of us, I was thinking, after the hurricane, we didn't get a chance to do things like that. I know in December, I always make sure that I fish in December. One of the reasons just to be running the motor and all. Well, I didn't get to do it this year, so we really, and I'm preaching to myself, we really need to get out there and run our boat motors and just check them out all before the spring fishing jumps on us, because we don't want to be out there in March on a pretty day and all and have motor trouble. So, get that stuff done now. I also had get ready for the Spanish run. Folks, this is February. We're on about 6 weeks away. 5 to 6 weeks away for the Spanish mackerel run. It usually hits here by mid-March. So 5 to 6 weeks away. So check all your Spanish mackerel rod and reels, and make sure you got plenty of the mackerel trees and all, because that's going to be fun this year, catching those Spanish. And the last one is the National Wild Turkey Federation. Great time to go to it. It's February 13th, and I've got a little video. Before we show the video, though, we're going to do a drawing. That National Wild Turkey Federation convention each year is just, I've never been, but Stan goes and Ken Paramore goes and talks about it, and I see a lot of feedback on it. It's just a lot of fun. So anyway, you know what? I think I ought to add a couple more names. I do, before we draw. Real quick, Lance Adkins, who was on the show yesterday. Wasn't it great to have those boys on the show? They did such a good job. And if you got some young people that you want to feature, they don't have to go to Moser High School. They can go to Vernon or Bluntstown, whatever. If the parents want to bring them down, and we'll put them on the show every now and then. I'd be glad to. I love having young people. Rodney Johnson up in Kinard, and Minnie Johnson up in Kinard. They watch the show every day in a beautiful place called Kinard. All right, here we go. We're going to draw. This is going to be for the $20 gift certificate from Tropical Dock Seafood. Now, I saw Clay the other day, and they're doing real well down there. You want to ask for Clay when you go in. He watches the show every morning because the little girls gets him out of bed. Okay, the winner of the $20, Onda Gagne from Lynn Haven, loyal viewer from day one. And let's see, that one fell out. Okay, and the winner of the red snapper is going to be from Lynn Haven. The 2 Lynn Haven winners, Steve Brookins. Steve, I'm not going to say anything, Steve. I'm proud you won, okay? And I know you want to thank your wife for entering you in this contest, because I know she did it. All right, now this is a little short, minute and a half or so video on the National Wild Turkey Federation convention they have each year in Nashville. And this was last year's, and it sort of gives you a highlight of how to look at it and all. And what we're going to do, we're going to watch this, and then we're going to come back and do our famous Friday fishing report. But I just really look at it. If you get a chance to go, I'm going to try to get Ken on here to talk about it too, because he goes every year. And so, Jeff, let's run this video, okay?
Well, we're here at the NWTF.
NWTF National Convention is going down.
Okay, welcome back and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast. I'm going to do a little bit different today. I'm sort of going to feature an area first of all, then maybe get into some other stuff. This is interesting because I want to feature a place that I really haven't talked about a lot. I sort of skim over it and I don't do it intentionally. I usually start at Choctawhatchee Bay and then head to West Bay. But in between there is really one of the crown jewels of the Florida Panhandle, and that's this area right here. They've got it here on Google, Powell. We call it Lake Powell, and of course Phillips Inlet. It sort of all goes together. First of all, let me talk about the name. It wasn't a Powell family that lived there and settled there like most lakes and all and places named after families that first settled and all. This was a Native American name, Powella. If you look on the early maps, which I've looked on the very early maps of when the state was a territory before the state, it was Powella, P-O-W-E-L-L-A, which was a Native American term. So anyway, just a little bit of history there. And then I want to read you some comments. Someone posted on there on a fishing page, can you catch anything out of Lake Powell? Okay, so I'm going to just read. Don't take my word for it. Take some of these fishermen. I'm going to read a couple of comments from them. Okay, Matt Reed said, lots of reds. Okay, they're answering the question. Lots of reds stacked up at the bridge. The trout and flounder are hit or miss. Okay, Ted Myron, which I know Ted. I know a lot of these boys here. Ted said, I got my inshore Grand Slam there. That speaks volumes. And Ted's a good fisherman. And then Taylor Chris said, let's go over another comment. Grant said, I've caught trout, reds, pompano, flounder, all there in Lake Powell. And then Braden Harris said, my buddy caught a nice trout. There have been some gator trout caught out of there. And also Michael Harris said, it used to be great before the golf course was put there. And then another guy said, I caught a 7-pound flounder out of there. So that's just some testimonials out of Lake Powell. I'm going to zoom in on it, okay? And first of all, how are you going to get in there? Well, there's a boat ramp. I'll let it focus up a little bit. And we've talked about a boat ramp before, but you can launch your boat, Lake Powell Park, okay? You can launch your boat. Here's Highway 98 and the bridge, of course. And now they have it Powell Lake and here. And it is really just a gold mine as far as just getting in out there and all. Okay, you can launch your boat here, and then you'll notice you have what I would do. I would take my kayak and just start I would pedal along. I would fish this area maybe in the morning or something, and then with the rising sun. Okay, all these docks here. Then and then you go across. Of course, you can see the golf course, and I don't care what I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. I know I'm making people mad, but golf courses and next to water just never been a good situation. You can't tell me you keep this green here without some of that not getting right next to the water and all. See up in here, that's just not healthy. But anyway, it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. But anyway, the docks along in here, you can fish along in here, and it's really pretty all up in here. There's some houses back in here, but don't hesitate to go up in here. There's some nice fish up in these areas here, okay? And then, of course, the bridge, Be some good sheephead fishing in here. I know Nat Harris does a lot of good fishing. He catches a lot of trout up in here. Nat puts in here, put in here. And then, of course, you got this is more of a brackish kind of water in here. You got some excellent fishing coming in here. And this will, on occasion, this will close out, you know, and then when the water level rises, it busts it through like this. Now, the other gem of it, of course, is a state park here. And you can put in a state park, of course, we talked about surf fishing here a lot, but now you can put in right here and fish out in this area here. You can wade fish, so you can walk in here and wade fish. This is ideal for wade fishing. But again, don't hesitate to take your boat and fish all up through this area up in here. This is good fishing. See these docks down in here? I've heard some good fishing. This is a pretty natural area in here and all. Okay, you got your state park here, and but don't forget to you know, clean up. Make sure, I know y'all are so good about not making a mess and all, and pick up your trash and all, and we pick up other people's trash. And if you catch a big old gator trout, a lot of times I take a picture and let it go and all, but don't forget to catch a good meal of those speckled trout and a flounder. That's some good eating right there. I just wanted to feature Powell Lake, or what we call Lake Powell, and Phillips Inlet. That's our feature for today. Which I've about run out of time now, but just briefly in general, if you're gonna fish this weekend, the river is dropping, so I mentioned it'd be good river fishing. The bay system is going to be, the morning tides are low, so try to fish afternoon if you can. Weather this weekend is going to be pretty. It's going to be really good to get out. I know a lot of y'all still in the woods and all, but it's still not a bad situation to get out. And you know, what ideal time is hunting in the morning and fishing in the afternoon. That's an ideal outdoor day here in the Panhandle. We're going to have to start wrapping things up. It's been a good week. I've enjoyed doing the show. I appreciate all the good feedback I get from y'all, and y'all just stay in touch, keep sending pictures, let me know what's going on, and we'll spread the word and keep everybody going. Y'all have a great weekend. Do something good today and this weekend for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.